Okay, Art, I think you are good to start.
Perfect. All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for taking an hour out of your day, possibly on your lunchtime, but much appreciated. So I'd like to welcome everybody to our first town hall for the Ontario Independent Garden Centre members of Landscape Ontario for 2023. We are a very special industry, and you know what? All businesses face challenges, but you know we've got so many advantages and strengths in our industry that sometimes I think we lose sight of it and we don't leverage it enough. So we're going to be hosting 3 seminars or 3 webinars during the month of March. And, you know, we've come up with these topics based on input from Garden Centre, Independent Garden Centre members on things that are important and things that we have in common. And looking forward to having more and more people participate as we go. So as mentioned, as I mentioned, you know, we're a special industry. How many called retail or wholesale businesses out there genuinely make people's lives better? That's us. That's what we do. You know, the products and services that we offer increase in value, and they truly can be seen as an investment in your homes as well as your lives. You know, over the last number of years, you know, there's been a real spike in knowledge and interest and urgency about environmental benefits. And you know, our industry, you know, we are so genuinely positioned to help people with that. And I would like to just call out on everybody to keep that top of mind and, you know, make sure that's part of your messaging. We've got a number of speakers available today, and I just got a couple other things I wanted to share with everybody before we jump into it. As I hope you can see, there's a QR code that is showing up on your screen right now. Garden Centres Canada National Benefits for the Independent Garden Centre. So if you have your phone with you, at some point, I would encourage you to scan that QR code, and it will open up a page that will highlight a lot of the programs and benefits that Landscape Ontario and the CNLA provide for independent garden centers. One of the newer items that's in there is a private peer-to-peer Facebook group for Garden Centre members. So it's not a Facebook group that's a gardener's Facebook group. It's a Garden Centre industry Facebook group. And you know, over the last 6 or 7 months, the amount of activity that has been showing up on there is increasing. It's a great way for us to share opportunities and challenges, sometimes frustrations with each other, but it's the, you know, the comfort of knowing that it's an industry only group. So we can certainly share that with each other. You know, we're stronger together. You know, I've been in this business for 44 years in independent garden centers, and you know, independent garden centers are stronger when we stand shoulder to shoulder, and we're also so much stronger when we get involved in Landscape Ontario and the programs and the services that are available in Landscape Ontario that far go beyond Congress, which, you know, we all know that we had a great Congress in 2023, and it's great to see it's back, but there's so much out there in Landscape Ontario. So keep that in mind. This week, we're going to be talking primarily about recruiting. And you know, I like to keep focused on the fact that we provide great work for employees. And this could be employees that maybe only work with you for a week or a month or the springtime. It could be people that are working with us through college and university or finishing off high school, or it could be a whole career for people. So, you know, we've got great work, and there are so many people that that are part of our industry for very personal reasons. So just lots of goodness, and we need to celebrate these things. So with that, I think we're going to jump right into it. We have three speakers that are going to be talking about fields today, and I will hand it over to Amanda for starting. So welcome, Amanda.
Thank you so much, Art. It's couldn't find that mute button even after 3 years. It is a pleasure to be here today. I am the Grow Program Manager with Landscape Ontario, and I have some of my fellow colleagues here today. I'll just give them a second to introduce themselves, who they are, and how they're connected to this wonderful topic of recruiting and attracting and retaining employees within in the landscape and horticulture sector. Joan, I'll pass it over to you.
Hello, my name is Joan. I work on part of the Grow program that is devoted solely to employers and the HR personnel. I think that would be a good segue to what I do with the Grow program. More later.
Thank you, Joan. And Vicki.
Amanda. Similar to Joan, I work with the Grow program as a program lead. I have touched a little bit of the new entrant program as well. I have some experience there, and yeah, currently a lead for the supervisory program. And as Joan mentioned, I'll get further into that later on.
Thanks, Vicki. And last but certainly not least, we have Tim over here. That mute button again. It gets us all, Tim.
There we go. You didn't want to hear that first part anyway. Yeah, so I am what's referred to as an apprenticeship mentor and pathways specialist. What that means is that I try to make employers understand what the apprenticeship is all about. And I work solely on the apprenticeship side and really enjoy it. It's a fabulous program.
Thank you, Tim, and more from Tim later as well. First, I'll hopefully share my screen successfully over here and talk a little bit about the Grow program. So Vicki, Joan, and myself have mentioned that we are part of the Grow program, and what is that exactly? The Grow program was really built on helping the industry increase revenue, increase value, increase their ability to attract, recruit, retain staff. As we know, this has been a very big part of the challenges that the industry has faced on total. We are looking at finding and keeping our qualified labor. The Grow programs are really designed to mitigate the challenges that the industry faces. And as this presentation walks you through the basics of each program, the benefits, the curriculum, and the eligibility, please do feel free to ask any questions that you might have regarding the programs as we go through. The GROW program is actually an acronym. It stands for Get Ready for Opportunities at Work. We provide specialized training to workers and their firms. All GROW programs are funded by the Government of Canada and the Government of Ontario, and therefore are provided at no cost. So all three programs connected to the GROW program are of no cost to the employees, the job seekers, or the employers. So as I walk through this, do keep that in mind, the incredible value that's being offered here. So we have 3 programs. As we mentioned, we have our new entrant training program, which really prepares participants for entry-level positions in the landscape and horticulture profession. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that in a moment, but I just want to make you aware of the supervisory training program, which provides supervisory training and individualized professional development to current workers who are nominated by their employers. Vicky is going to have the opportunity to give you a little bit more detail and walk you through this program. And of course, we have the Employers of Choice training program, which works with eligible landscape employers to advance their ability to attract, recruit, and retain their dedicated team of exceptional staff. And Joan will have the opportunity to walk you through this as we go. And hopefully we have a lot of details provided for you. But again, please feel free to ask any questions that you might have. The new entrant training program will be our first training program that we're talking about today. This is our largest of our training programs. We look at recruiting about 200 participants per year through this training program. This is an entry-level training program where we're looking to connect participants with entry-level jobs and entry-level skills. So we provide 4 weeks of skills training. This training mimics a work site. It features both online learning as well as hands-on learning. So we do 2 weeks online as well as 2 weeks in person at the Milton facility or in a satellite facility, depending on the location. Once they're finished their 4 weeks of training, we then connect them with our 2-week paid work trial. So what that really means is we're connecting them to your jobs, the jobs that are out there, real jobs, and we're asking for a 2-week commitment from both our employer and our participant. These trials are intended to lead to ongoing employment. That is our goal, really, for both our employers and our participants. 2 weeks is just a small commitment. Really what we're looking for is that ongoing employment. So we're looking to make the right connections with the right employers and the right participants. All of our participants receive that access to one-on-one support in order to find that full-time employment within the sector. So we do job coaching and job matching, trying to find out each participant's qualities that might connect them to the best business near them. We help them build that professional network, connecting them to networking opportunities within Landscape Ontario, outside of Landscape Ontario, and trying to have them really connect with the industry and finding different ways to connect. They train with current industry professionals. All of our instructors are either currently working in or have retired from the industry, Art being one of our past instructors, and I am going to throw over to him in just a moment. They also have the opportunity to gain in-demand skills, particularly pertaining to safety knowledge. Safety is a huge part of our curriculum and something that we really help our participants understand the value of. All training is provided free for each of our participants. So we help them with all of these aspects, and it costs them nothing. It also costs our employers nothing for us to help them find a possible right fit employee. As part of our new entrant training, not only are we focusing on those technical skills, those hard skills, and learning what skills they need in order to start in the industry, we're also talking about those employment and soft skills training. It's great to have all the knowledge in the world about your technical skills and the craft, but really looking at those employment skills and those soft skills in order to attain a job and retain a job, and making sure that you're working with your fellow coworkers well. So the GROW employment staff are really here to help our participants transition into that new career. Some of our participants are starting their first career ever. Maybe they're straight out of high school or straight out of college or university program, and they're looking to begin their career in the industry. Some of our participants are coming for their second, third, fourth career and are looking to use their transferable skills to attain a job that speaks to them. We consider this their industry shorthand, really, that using those transferable skills, those soft skills. This usually takes time to know how our application and our culture of the landscaping works. So we really have them practice those soft skills when they're on site. We have them working in crews in order to develop those abilities to speak with their colleagues. We're really looking at tailoring their resumes to the industry and helping them looking at those transferable skills to include the guidance and support in order to help them attain a position. We help them with their interview preparation. We help them with industry employer searches and application support. So if there are any platforms or any other barriers that some participants may struggle with, we will help them with that in order to get their application through. We'll help them with job resources and abilities to search for jobs within the industry successfully. And in addition to that, we also do one-on-one follow-up supports and check-ins. So we always say when our participants come into the program, they never leave the program. We're always there to connect with and support and guide should anything arise. And that includes with our employers. So if there are any supports that our employers who are connected to our program need, we're happy to assist and do some support on that end as well. So our program curriculum, that is our technical program curriculum, really focuses in on that softscape installation and maintenance practices. We look at horticultural principles, plant identification, safe tool and equipment use, workplace readiness, health and safety, as well as WHMIS. We are expanding. Our current regions are Toronto, Hamilton, Kawartha, Muskoka, Wellington, Waterloo, but we do have an expansion coming soon. Soon as we're hoping April. We're just looking to get our confirmations for our year 4 funding. At this point, I would like to turn it over to Art to talk a little bit more about how does softscape installation and maintenance practices really connect with those garden center sectors and what they might be looking at in terms of successful skill building within our curriculum.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Amanda. So as you had mentioned, I was given the opportunity to work as one of the technical instructors, and I worked on a couple of different classes through January and early February, and I cannot tell you how many times during the program I was shaking my head with how amazing the content is and how valuable it is for people that want to get into the industry. So, you know, the scope of the practical really covers, it's applicable for, certainly for people that are working in garden centers. It's applicable for grower operations. It's applicable for construction and installation, as well as landscape maintenance, and including a little bit of information on irrigation. But as a foundational base of information, it is a great tool. So, you know, I'm a very strong supporter of it. And again, you know, what an amazing resource for people that want to go into this industry as in a classroom, either online or in-person environment where they can really develop some skills. The groups that I worked with, as we got through the first couple days of getting to know each other, the enthusiasm for the industry was so sincere. These were people that I would have hired every single person if I was in a position to, through the intake, just because of the sincere interest that they had. And then I wasn't personally involved with the resume building and the interviewing skills and stuff like that, but what a great tool to have. And then I guess I'll just kind of also wrap up, Amanda. Health and safety is threaded through every module, and in this industry, it is so important, especially an industry that takes on so many new employees. New employees are at the greatest risk of a workplace injury. So just having that threaded into each module is something that I was very much personally aligned with in my professional career. So yeah, just big hats off to the program, and really excited that it's available. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you. And it was a pleasure to have you teaching. So I'll just sort of continue on. I just have 2 slides remaining for this program. Just a little note. Who might you see through this program? And Art sort of mentioned a little bit about who you might see. So all of our participants need to be legally able to work in Canada, whether it is through permits or age. They have to be entitled to work in Canada. A resident of Ontario seeking full-time employment, currently unemployed, all of our check marks. But one of the things that Art touched on is they have to have an interest. We're looking for candidates who have an interest in working outdoors and being active in the industry itself. We're looking for people who are wanting to learn about the industry. And really, again, it could be people starting their first career, second, third, fourth, and so on. But that interest, that passion, and that willingness to learn is something that we put high on our values list when seeking candidates for this program. Now, the new entrant worker training program does have a job bank that employers can be connected to. This is really the first stop for our participants as they graduate from the program. We tell them, go to our Grow Job Bank, seek out those Grow verified employers. Becoming a Grow verified employer, it's free. It takes about 30 minutes to do. In order to be eligible to be a Grow verified employer, you have to be registered to operate in one or more of our service areas. So in Toronto, Hamilton, Kawartha, Muskoka, Wellington, Waterloo, and with our expansion coming soon in any of those areas. You need to verify that the business is in compliance with OSHA, ESA, and FIPA. Willing to meet with our employment staff to conduct a site visit and a health and safety documentation review. Any of the documentation that you may have that's outdated will support that ask in getting up-to-date information. Really looking at the WSIB and third-party liability insurance, making sure that you have those up-to-date, and willing to complete our Grow documentation. I know this sounds like a lot, but our Grow employment staff work really hard to help you and walk you through every step of the process, and will support you with anything that might be missing or anything that might be out of date. We always have connections to find the most up-to-date information. So you can find us at growdoors.ca, growtraining.ca, And if you click on growtraining.ca, there is a link for our job bank in order to fill out an application. So that is the new entrant training program. At this time, I don't see any questions. If there are any, I'll take them now, or we can save them till the end, and I will pass it on over to Vicky, who will talk about our supervisory training program.
Thank you, Amanda. So hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Vicki Thompson, and as Amanda shared, I'm the program lead for the supervisory training program, which is part of the GROW umbrella of programs. Our program focuses on developing and training staff that would make exceptional leaders. So really the focus of this program is around that retention, developing your staff and keeping them employed and helping them move forward within their careers. The training for this program takes place during the winter season, so we really hope that they can make the most of kind of the downtime that they have available as they move through our program. We have a wide range of soft and technical skills trainings that are part of this program and that are very much customized to fit the needs of your business and your employees. And I think really that is the key to the success of this program and why it's so popular. And we have a lot of interest over the last year. And the reason behind that is because we really work with our participants to customize their training. We have applicants and participants from all across the industry, construction, irrigation, turf care, growers, and of course, garden centers as well. So individualizing those plans is really key to developing those participants. We really encourage our participants and their supervisors, to take the reins on their training as they move through this program, as we'll get into more detail on how it actually as it rolls out. But along with our research, our suggestions, our support, we really encourage the participants and their supervisors to take control of their training plan and create something that's customized for the type of work that they do. There's a stat that we share on the later slide from a survey where 94% of respondents said that they would stay longer with an employer who offered them professional development opportunities. And that's really the crux of this supervisory training program. Retention is obviously a huge topic in the industry right now, and it's really, in your best interest to invest in your staff. And as we talked about at the top of this, investment for our program is totally free. There's no money involved. It's really just time and support for your staff. So who is eligible? What type of participants are we looking for? What employees might be well suited for our program? So up top, they need to be nominated by you. This is not something that your employees would sign up for themselves. You select employees that you think would be a good fit for this program, that are generally in some kind of team lead position where they have a team of people that they're supervising. It could be something that you might want to move them eventually into. Maybe they're not supervising someone right now. But some you think would have the potential to do that supervising work, or maybe are new to a supervising position. They need to be over 18 and legally entitled to work in Canada, of course. I need to be currently employed with you. So this is for your current staff that you have on the roster right now. And they need to have a return to work date if seasonally laid off by March 15th. Of course, quite a number of our participants have seasonal layoffs, and we're really adept at working around that. So some participants are working, some are not, and we're very flexible where they are in their process. It is a completely virtual program. So they need to have regular access to a computer and internet at home. Sorry, the asterisks are not completely virtual. There is options for some in-person training, but the foundational core of the program is a virtual training. This makes it very flexible for our participants to attend. We have people in trucks with their high-vis vests on, people in snow plows in the middle of snowstorms jumping onto calls. So we really try and make it as easy for them to access the training as possible. We're looking for employees who are interested in their advancement and their knowledge of their skills and their abilities within landscape and horticulture. So these are these exceptional employees, the rock stars, the people that show up and do their great work every day, that you want to support and really help move forward in their career. And as we mentioned, that is a fantastic thing to do when it comes to retention for your employees. And then have somebody who has the potential to become a remarkable supervisor. There's a quote from a former participant, Aurelio. He said, I became a better leader after the program. He learned how to delegate, handle overwhelming situations, and this has allowed me to approach this season in a better state of mind with the ability to stay calm when dealing with new situations. And I love that. That's really what we're looking for. At the bottom there is a link, which I'm sure will probably be shared after this, maybe in an email or something like that. Nominations are currently closed. As I mentioned, we do it during the winter season, but we do have a wait list. So if you are interested in adding some names to the wait list, getting at the front of the line there, we do have a wait list open. When it comes to what's included in the program, what they receive, up top is that foundational supervisory skills training. And this is the virtual call that we have everyone jump on once a week. Our participants are split into cohorts. And from the feedback we've received, they love this course that we have them move through. It's based around team-based management. So it's all about soft skills that come with managing a team, but also the networking opportunities, the discussion opportunities. It's very discussion-based. And we have a lot of question times, breakout rooms where they can talk about what they face in their roles and troubleshoot ways to move around that with our HR consultant who's on the call and leads it. So really, really valuable training there. And as Art touched upon for new entrant there, we also have advanced workplace health and safety and compliance training that we have our participants attend. These are your staff that will be supervising those new entrants, the new labor that come into the workplace. So having that advanced health and safety training is so valuable for them. And then when it comes to the individualized part of the program, each participant gets an individual training plan and budget. This past year was about $2,000 per participant that they could spend on training. And then everybody gets a goal coaching one-on-one session with myself and their supervisor. So it's 3 people on a call. The supervisor, the employee, and myself get on a call and we talk about what areas the employee might want to work on, where you want them to be, where they want to go in their careers, and how we can get them there with training and education. And this is where that individualization comes from. For a garden center, you may have people that are superstar employees who work in a different area of retail. Maybe they came from a different type of business, work in retail, have a lot of amazing management experience, but they don't know anything about plants. Maybe they're completely brand new to plants. We absolutely have participants like that who use a lot of their budget on the technical skills and train themselves up on their plant ID and their IPM, that type of thing. We also have people on the exact opposite side who are so technically strong, who live and breathe horticulture, and this is everything they know, but they haven't actually had experience or training in supervisory positions before. So those people use a lot of their budget for soft skills to develop their management experience. So that's kind of how you can think about ways they could use those budgets. We have training through LO that they can access, through Conestoga, which is one of our training partners that we do soft skills training with. And then just some examples of some really creative uses of that budget that people have come up with. We had a participant who worked primarily with a Spanish speaking crew at a grower that he worked at. He didn't really understand Spanish that well, so he used his budget for one-on-one private Spanish lessons. And we actually worked with the Spanish school to make sure it was tailored to the landscape industry, and he learned about safety words and horticulture words as well. We had somebody who's doing their driver's license. They're going to get their G license, which will help them drive trucks and participate better at work. And we had somebody else who really is interested in apprenticeship, but he needed his high school diploma. So he used our program to get that final credit that he needed to get his diploma so that he could eventually move into apprenticeship. So all sorts of different ways you can get creative and use this budget. And there's that stat there, about 94% of employees said they would stay with employers who provide them with professional development. Alrighty, and then for which employers we're looking for. So hopefully maybe we've sold you on this program. You want to get your people signed up for next year. So for this program, totally available province-wide. Because we're virtual, we're a little bit more agile. So anywhere in the province of Ontario, you're eligible. You of course need to comply with applicable legislation similar to the new entrant and be registered, licensed to operate in Ontario. Because this is about advancing your employees, moving them up and having them move through their careers in advance, you definitely need opportunities for advancement at your current work site. We're looking for people who could maybe move into a new position or have more responsibilities given to them, things like that. And they need to be willing and committed to support your employees throughout training by attending that goal setting session. So that's where we decide what courses they're going to work on, what skill sets they're going to develop. Supporting them through a change project. Each participant takes on a project where they can practice implementing change at their company. It could be small, it could be large. We have all sorts of different options, and we can kind of help you decide what you want to do with your employee. But that change project is insanely valuable. And then providing us with feedback through surveys so we understand how the program's working. So as I mentioned, this is a fantastic investment in your employees, but no money involved, just that time and that support to help them move through the program. And as I mentioned, waitlist is open right now. It's on our website, and I'm sure links will probably be sent out later. So if you're interested, get on the waitlist because our waitlist will be contacted first once nominations open in the end of the summer, early fall next year.
Great. Thank you so much, Vicki. I didn't see any questions in the chat, but please do feel free to ask any questions as you go. Oh, I see Art has something
Yeah, sorry, I was gonna kind of cheat and not use the chat, but
there.
thanks, Vicky. So a couple things. I presume that this is really suitable for people that might be fairly new supervisors that might be struggling in their role, right? They you know, too many times, you know, over the years, you know, from my experience, you know, we've hired people that excel in their current role, and then we put them into a supervisory role and not give them the new skills that they need to be an effective supervisor. So, you know, I think employers should be thinking about this as preventive recruiting. So you know, the retention part about keeping people so that we're not having to hire and start over can be extremely valuable. And then my next question is, you have a waiting list. So what is your capacity for when it opens up again next winter?
Yeah, so when it comes to numbers, we're looking for about 75 people to come into the program total. We limit it to 2 per company, just to make sure that it's fair access for everyone. So each employer can nominate up to 2 employees for the program. We keep accepting nominations, even if we do hit the 75, in case, you know, people decide not to take the program, we can move people in. So we definitely will just keep accepting names until the program starts. And yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head there with what you said, that this is great for new employees. That is definitely feedback I receive from a lot of the participants, that they received so much training in the technical side, you know, with the equipment. They sit with the supervisor who walks them through everything, and then often they're promoted, and there's no dedicated management training that goes along with it as well. So it's really a great fit for that type of employee for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think the other great part of this program is that individualized skill building aspect, as Vicky mentioned. You really have the opportunity, whether it's a new supervisor who is brand new into their role and they need to focus on how do you manage people, how do you work with people and manage them in an effective way, all the way up to we've had supervisors who are almost forgetting their old skills that they've built and need a refresher on how to effectively skill build with the generations that they're currently working with. So really sort of utilizing this program to start afresh and start something new. So it's I think a great opportunity for all sorts of employees. Next up, we have the Employers of Choice training program. So for this program, I'd like to pass it on over to Joan to talk a little bit more about this incredible opportunity.
Hello, when I first came to work at this program, I realized that it's a very, very rare program in the employment services and the workforce development world, because it covers everyone. It has something for the new entrant. It has something for employee development. And this program is all about the employers of choice. Or we're trying to build them to be employers of choice. And what does that mean? The Employers of Choice program is totally dedicated to employers and the HR, people who can make a difference to the organization. So for years, we've been having challenges with our workforce. And we understand perfectly, better said by Albert Einstein, is we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used to create them, which is it's not going to go away, our problems. We've got to put on a different hat, and we've got to try and understand it and be able to rise up to the challenge. We looked very hard to get a person who would definitely deliver this program and create a change in thinking. So we've got Jackie Hart to facilitate the program. She has, and why is she very relevant to this? Because she's had her own landscape business for the last 25 years. And now she is a business coach. So it is part of her profession. She understands the business and the nuances that affect our profession. The next one is that she's seen the thinking that has gone into creating the problems, and she offers training, resources, and solutions to equip employers to face challenges head on. So all this gets taken in the Employers of Choice Level 1. We had this program run from December 19th. It goes on for 8 weeks. It's 90 minutes of virtual training, 30 minutes of a Q&A in case you have any questions on the session. And you have one-on-one coaching with her where you can bring your most pressing issues in your organization, and she helps direct you towards what you can be doing. To add to the mix of issues of workforce challenges is also the paradigm shift, is working with different generations and how that can be confusing and how each requires a different mindset of thinking. That is also being addressed in the Level 1 session. Now, we don't leave you high and dry. You finish Level 1. In the coming year, you get your chance to implement it throughout the year. In the coming year, you get the EOC Level 2, which is a peer-to-peer network sessions. There are also 8 of them, 90 minutes each session, where we bring in speakers who've actually implemented what is being taught. They're going to take you on their journey of challenges and successes in implementing the different mindset and thinking. So we follow you on your journey as an employer of choice. If we move on, you'd have the curriculum. So the curriculum, each of the topics help you to make small changes so that it ladders up and has a ripple effect on your onboarding, your retention, your recruitment, and retaining a workforce of your choice. If I had to sum up our program based on what we are seeing our employers go through, I can say, well, it sums up better by Doug Conant, who is an ex-CEO and president of Campbell's and an amazing leadership speaker. He says, if you are entrusted with bringing about change, you likely possess the knowledge needed to advance the organization, and you might have a plan. But knowledge is not enough. You have to bring yourself to each interaction in a deeply authentic way. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think that's an amazing way to sum up what happens in the Employers of Choice program. It's not just a professional training, it is also personally train you to be a better person. And I think that opens absolute doors to dealing with your organization. We also are done with our programs. We have a wait list on our website. You can sign up, and we take in as many as we can. I think we're doing 50 for level 1 and 50 for level 2. So trying to put in as many people to raise the bar that we're setting for the industry.
Thank you, Joan. The Employers of Choice training program is an incredibly valuable training program, again, for that retention aspect. How do you keep your employees? And also how do you attract employees? Looking really at that curriculum is looking at your systems, business, and operational goals, as well as how we interact with our employees and with our talent. So really an incredible opportunity to continue your learning. We always say the learning never ends. And this is really true in the Employers of Choice training program. I'm happy to field any questions if there are any. I don't see any in the chat. Art, do you have any other questions you'd like to throw out?
Maybe just one thing to clarify, and apologies if I missed it. So this is Employers of Choice. Is it also open to people that are in senior management positions that may not be the owner of their business, but they are responsible for the total operations of their business?
Yes, we will, Art. We will definitely take them on because we're looking at anybody who can make a change. What we've
Yes.
seen is often we have people take a program, they have all these great ideas, and then they go to the management and they say, here are the ideas, and it falls nowhere because the management doesn't agree in it. So
Yeah.
anybody who can effect that change.
Right. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it, Joan.
You're welcome.
Amazing. And then final, oh, sorry, I do see one question in here. Any plans for the new entrant training program to come to the Ottawa area? That is potential for our expansion. We are looking to come to the Ottawa area moving into our next fiscal year. And our next fiscal year begins very soon. March 17th. So we're hoping to, well, we won't be out in Ottawa March 18th. We are looking to come to that area in the coming months. So we will definitely be promoting and connecting with Ottawa employers as we move forward. Joan?
We've had a lot of Ottawa employers in our program, so do feel free to sign up.
Yeah, both the Employers of Choice as well as the supervisory program are already offered province-wide, and we are looking at the expansion in the new entrant. We are going to be doing the expansion in the new entrant in this coming year. Finally, I would like to turn it over to Tim to talk a little bit about the apprenticeship program in our final moments here as we move forward in terms of training.
So Tim can't speak for a few minutes on apprenticeship. There's so much to speak about in it, but I will say this. Isn't it wonderful to see all these programs that are available? Let's face it, everybody's got the same problem with having employees, and not only our industry, but just about every trade. It's a common discussion with everybody. And so what our industry has done is taken it to another level. They provide the GROW program, which is wonderful training, and we are fully engaged with all the apprenticeship programs in Ontario. Of course, we have multiple TDAs across the province. You know, it's available at Algonquin College in Ottawa, Humber College in the GTA area, Fanshawe College in London, and of course, Mohawk in the Burlington, Hamilton area. Since I've been taking this or working on this program, when Tony asked me back in August if I could help out with it, my responsibility was to reach out to contractors. Why they chose me to do this is because of my experience. like Art, June 18th will be my 50th year in this industry. So a lot of contractors know about us, and Art hit it right on the head. All these programs, I mean, there's really, probably there's a couple of missing ingredients, and one of them is participation. And the participation has to come from the employers. So I've been reaching out to all the employers to try and convince them, try to make them understand. And I was a little bit amazed at how little they understood about it. Not necessarily because they wanted to, it just wasn't high on their priority. They're running a business. So my job was to reach out to them and try and explain how easy it is to become involved with the apprenticeship program. And it actually proved quite successful, and we filled up all the TDAs that we have. But one of the questions I constantly had was, well, I'm not, like, for instance, if we use the Muskoka area, I'm not going to drive to Humber because it's too far. And I can't be there for the 12 weeks in the winter time because I have a young family, or whatever the case may be. So what will solve that problem will be numbers. And likewise with the GROW program, what you can do anything as long as you have the numbers, and numbers meaning employers registering. And that's one of the first things. So the fact of the matter is there's lots of money available in the apprenticeship program for employers and employees. When you get registered and you get accepted as an apprentice, you actually go to school in the wintertime, which is the off season. And during the season itself, you go to the school in the wintertime for 12 weeks, January through to the end of March. And then during the season itself, you're actually working towards the hours you required to be a true apprentice. And when you complete that program after a couple of years and you have the hours, then hopefully you're writing the exam to become a registered Red Seal apprentice, which is recognized across North America, by the way. But and the monies, everybody, I mean, it's very easy to find out the money's on it. If you go on our website, they're called achievement incentives. They're all there. All you have to do is check out the various programs. There's both provincial money available for the employee and employer, and significant federal money available to the employers that they could end up getting in the $20,000 range for funds to be able to support their training programs. So when you look at the big picture, and we don't have time to get into all the detail of it, but there is an apprenticeship team that wants to help you. So the people complain about the paperwork that's involved, and yes, there is paperwork involved. There always is when you're dealing with government. But we have an apprenticeship team that will help you through that. So the money is there. The facilitation of the administrative side of things is there. We're always there for you for the 2 weeks. And the other thing that we have noticed, and I've attended 6 job fairs this year to talk to students and people looking for work. And they all say the same thing. They're kind of amazed at what's available to them. They're interviewing us. We're not interviewing them. So they are trying to find out the career path they would like to take. And so they ask the questions. So when us as employers are able to give them an option of the apprenticeship program or the GROW program, it makes it pretty easy for them to consider taking that field, because all the younger people now are very interested in the environment. And this is a natural tie-in to that. So when we offer these 2 programs for them, it's a no-brainer. They just love it. And they see the fact that they can be trained and also earn money while they're doing it. So it makes perfect sense. So you know what? It's up to the employer to reach out to us to find out the information, but between the GROW program and between the apprenticeship program and the countless seminars that are run at Landscape Ontario, we should be able to solve a lot of the workforce development issues that we have. All we have to do is be able to attract people to our industry, and these programs should do that. And I am done, Art.
Thanks. Thanks, Tim. There was a comment from one of the guests about trying to make sure that, you know, we're utilizing Zoom technology as much as possible. I'm not sure if that was specifically directed to the apprenticeship program, but overall, just continuing to use these new tools.
I may sort of give a partial answer to that. I know some of the employers across the province would like to have online learning for some of these courses, and the employers in our industry have to understand that we're the facilitators. We're the link between government and the employers. So all of those decisions have to come through the industry, the ministry, and that's in progress. We're constantly negotiating with them and indicating the problems that are happening in it, and we're trying to satisfy the employers as much as possible, because the employers are our customers, and we're doing what we can to help them out. Joan has her hand up.
I think Joan's hand's been up for a little while.
Not gone down.
Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you, Tim, Joan, Vicky, and Amanda. We are getting close to 1 o'clock, so perhaps we should open it up to some general questions again to the audience. I don't see anything currently in the question and answer or chat file right now, so any other questions from the audience? Okay, well, you know what, I want to just throw 1 or 2 other comments out there, partially because that's what I like to do. You know, these programs that we've talked about today are part of your toolbox to address our recruiting and retention challenges. So if every business can do a better job finding quality candidates, your success rate is going to be higher. And if every employer thinks about their retention and thinks about their career path options available to some of their really invested employees, like Tim said, you know, we know that business owners, operators are very busy, and we are running businesses, we are growing businesses, and we're dealing with every possible challenge and opportunity that is out there, and we're always on guard for, you know, for what's the next thing. But utilizing Landscape Ontario and utilizing these tools that are in place should be really considered a critical part of your management toolbox. So I think they're fantastic programs, and like Tim said, you know, it's participation. We want to see so many of our members take advantage of this, because the challenges apply to everybody. Every business that's out there deals with recruiting and retention and employee development. So hats off to Landscape Ontario for this amazing program. And I think with that, unless there are any other questions or comments, I think we will adjourn. Amy has mentioned again that this session is being recorded, so you will have the opportunity to listen to it again. And with that, I will wish everybody a great day, and thanks to the LO team again. Well done. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.